They say that every silver lining has a cloud, and so I apologize, but here I am. For those that don't know me, my name is Ryan, and I'm the best man, and Matt's best friend. Well, let's see at the end of the speech. I'm very friendly, house-trained, rarely bite, and will be found in the not too distant future near the bar. I'd also like to mention that I'm a complete novice at public speaking, and I have this overwhelming urge to prove it to you today. On behalf of the bridesmaids, groomsmen, and myself, I'd like to thank Matt and Nicole for asking us to be involved in one of the most important days of their lives. I know they both put a tremendous amount of effort into planning of this wedding, and I can only hope that apart from this speech anyway, everything else has exceeded their expectations. Speaking of the bridesmaids, my first takes the opportunity to say how beautiful you all look today. You really are a picture. Secondly, I just want to thank you on behalf of Matt for getting Nicole here today. I'm not going to say he was stressing, but you finished that bottle of Johnny Walker Black quite quickly. The bridesmaids come second only to the beautiful blushing bride, who is, I'm sure you'll agree, looking simply stunning. And Matt, you just look simple and stunned. However, I must apologize. This is the best I could do with Matt. After all, I'm not a miracle worker, I'm just the best man. I must admit, I wasn't sure who would be wearing what today. After seeing how much Matt enjoyed wearing a dress we got him for his bachelor's, I half expected him to have it on today. You started it. Next, I'd like to take some time to thank a few people who, on the face of it, have a fairly easy day. They have to cope with all the difficulties of standing around, pouting, and looking pretty. They spend a lot of time on their hair, makeup, and outfits, and without them, the day just wouldn't be the same. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm referring to the groomsmen and MC, Bradley, Stephen, and Carter. I'd also like to thank you all of you for being here today, especially those of you who knew that I'd be saying a few words. It's very touching that you still decided to come. Seriously though, Matt and Nicole, seeing this many people go to all this effort to be here with you today to celebrate is a true credit to you both. I first met Matt at school 17 years ago, and I can honestly say that he's one of the best blokes I've ever met. From our years playing rugby together, school tours, break time, memories, and just getting up to mischief. I truly believe a few of the first woman adverts are based on our teenage years. He has been a brilliant friend over the years, and it truly is an honour to be his best man. We've had some excellent times together, and I know we will continue to do so in the future. No one was happier than I when Matt met Nicole. Seeing their romance blossom was like watching a fairy tale unfold. Beauty and the Beast comes to mind. So how did I become best man? About 6 months ago, Matt and I were out having a few drinks, and later in the evening, while finding ourselves alone at the bar, after some general chit-chat, Matt looked deep into my eyes. His voice went quiet and trembly, and he asked how I felt about marriage. I was rather taken aback. I told him I was flattered, but what happened between us had happened, and he had to move on. One of the best man's tasks is to make sure Matt got here on time, and in decent form, sober, and smart. It's my responsibility to make sure his face and hair are in order. Now at this point, I would like to point out, his face is meant to look like that, ladies and gentlemen. Now as part of my speech, I'm apparently supposed to sing Matt's praises, tell you all about his many good points. Well, to be honest, I'm not a great liar, and I'm definitely no Frank Sinatra. So. Now, when it came to writing the speech, I wasn't short on material. Although most of it I had to edit, throw away, burn, or hand it over to the police to help with the inquiries. I wanted to begin telling you a little about Matt's years growing up. And given that pictures usually paint 1,000 words, I wanted to find a photo to represent this period. So I asked around, and in my quest, I was sent a cute photo of Matt running around majestically in the garden, in his birthday suit, dribbling, his cheeky grin covered with chocolate. As I said, I was looking to get a photo to bring here today enlarged and present it to you. But considering that this photo was only taken last week, I decided to not bring it with. Now, I thought I'd tell you a bit about Matt's school days. I came across a school report, and I have a couple of extracts to share with you. Design and technology. Although very keen, Matt has a distinct problem differentiating between inches and millimeters. No change there then, Nicole. Sports. Although Matt takes a very hands-on approach to sports, I'd wish he'd concentrate his efforts on playing with the rest of the team on the field rather than with himself. You may also be surprised to hear that Matt hasn't always been this good looking. Now, I'm not saying he was an ugly baby, but Mrs. Walker only had morning sickness after he was born. At this point in my speech, I would have liked to have told you about the bachelors, but the law of the bachelors does not allow me to do this. And besides being Matt's attorney, you also remind me of the old client confidentiality rule. So I decided to exercise caution until the charges are fully investigated. However, getting me a drink or two later at the bar might just loosen up the vocal cords a little bit. Alternatively, those who attended the bachelors, some of you might want to buy my silence or the photographic evidence. As we near the end of my speech, I just want to say how much of a great couple you make together, and how lucky you both are to have found each other. You're absolutely perfect. And Carter is truly blessed to have parents such as yourselves, even though sometimes he's the mature one in the room. I just want to share a thought for those who sadly aren't here with us today. They would be extremely proud of both of you, especially Matt's grandmother, who played a special role in Matt's life and holds a special place in his heart. There's, however, one more person who is prouder than all of those here today, and that is me. As nerve-wracking as today has been for me, I would do it 10 times over. I can't put into words how grateful I am to be part of this special day. Now, it's customary for the best man to give some words of wisdom to the newlyweds on marriage. Me not being married, I can't speak from experience. So I went out looking for happily married couples that could offer some advice. However, I'm still looking. For some reason this week, I drew inspiration from a friend of Matt and ours, David Webstock, who unfortunately isn't here with us today. He left us a couple of years ago, and I don't know if he was here, he would have been standing up at the altar with Matt and I. David was an extraordinary person. If you ever needed a copy homework in the morning before class, Dave was your man. I would have asked Matt, but he was sharing Dave's book with me. David is saying, every time we said thanks to him for helping you out, and Matt actually has this tattooed on his chest. And that was, it's always a pleasure, never a chore. I felt this saying had importance for today, and I feel it is something that both you and Nicole should embrace in your marriage. Marriage isn't an easy feat, and there will be days where you're angry for something done or not done. We live hectic lives, and sometimes helping one another is the last thing on one's mind. And I hope you embrace, it's always a pleasure, never a chore. When you love someone, you have to remember the things you do for one another is always a pleasure and never a chore. You have to want to do it, and to be with each other through every up and down. Now Nicole, I know Matt doesn't take his shirt off very often, unless we have had a couple of beers. So Nicole, I'm reminding you now, when Matt and I do something silly, arrive late, and in a fun state, and you need someone to tuck him in on the couch, remember, it's always a pleasure, never a chore. You know, someone once told me that true love is a soul's recognition of its counterpoint in another. And I think that's a very rare thing in this world. something to be valued, and I'm just really happy that my big sister Mattie found it. And finally, to the one part of my speech that isn't a duty, on behalf of everyone here today, I wish you both many, many years of happiness and a long and fruitful marriage. So I'd like you all to stand up and raise your glasses and join me in a toast to say congratulations to the newly Mr. and Mrs. Walker. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the bride and groom.
Before we get to our last and final speech, I've just got a message for Matt and Nicole. Dear Matthew and Nicole, we're so sorry we could not share your special day with you and send all our love your way. We often hear people say marriage is 50-50. There's actually a quote that says marriage is 100-100. It's not about dividing everything off, it's about giving everything you've got. Keep your friendship alive, build each other up, live bravely and love fiercely. Wishing you a lifetime of happiness. All our love. Uncle Robert, Auntie Patsy, and cousins Molly, Faye, and Natalie. All the way from America. Ladies and gentlemen,